We are very pleased to have a new member of the BTN family this year. He is Urban Meyer, and he will contribute in a variety of ways this season. I think it's fair to say he's a guy who knows a thing or two about this conference. Among the projects for Meyer, a weekly analysis segment where he sits down with Gerry DiNardo. They will give us a look at some of the hottest topics in the league. We will appropriately enough call it Urban Analysis. We start in a place near and dear to Meyer's heart, the transition going on in Columbus.
So, Coach, what makes Ryan Day elite?
Well, first of all, it's his intelligence and his football acumen and ability to strategize. You know, he's incredible game planner, play caller. However, we all know that's not even 1/5 or 1/2 of being a head coach. I think he's a great big picture guy. I think he's very like-minded in the way the program was run. Premium placed on education, toughness, and team, and that's what he is.
And he follows a guy, not to embarrass you, but you've won 3 national championships. You're going to be a Hall of Fame coach. It's the first time since 1946 that Ohio State has hired a first-time head coach. You were at Notre Dame when Bob Davie followed Lou Holtz. I watched Mike Davis follow Bob Knight. What kind of different pressure does that put on someone like Ryan?
I think a lot, especially in Columbus, Ohio. You know, and that is like Indiana basketball. Gene Smith and I had many conversations. We hired Ryan Day, and like I said, we hired him because he's a very good coach. He's far beyond that. So Ryan's got to be himself. Ryan can be himself, and he is being himself. You see they're killing at recruiting. He's doing an excellent job. He's got, if you had to say what my greatest strength was, I surrounded myself with a greatness. I think he's done the same there.
You talk about staff. I'm of the opinion that calling plays on Saturday is the most difficult job in college football, more difficult than the head coach. I think the second most difficult job in college football is being a head coach on Saturday. And yet Ryan, first-time head coach, is about to try to do both jobs on Saturday. I don't think you've ever done that.
Someone did a study that how hard that really is I think Steve Spurrier is the last one to win a national championship as a primary play caller, and I was actually with Coach Spurrier, and I think it is very hard, and I think he's gonna, Ryan just happens to be that good at it, but he's got a good staff. You know, Kevin Wilson's a very experienced play caller as well, so I'm interested to see how this thing develops, but we had conversations, Ryan and I, and he's that good at it, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be interesting to watch to see if Kevin Wilson assumes more responsibility there.
If you had to pick out one of Ryan's strengths and saying this is his best strength, what would it be?
Intelligence. I think he's a brilliant, and I'm not going to shortchange him, say brilliance in calling plays, brilliance and just his overall intelligence on how to handle situations.
Biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge is you got to beat the team up north. You win every one of them. You got to graduate every player. You got to everyone's got to be a first-round draft pick, and I usually say go get them, Tiger, after that. But his biggest challenge is day-to-day managing a group of very good players. This year, his biggest challenge is going to be this quarterback situation.
You see the arm strength once more. Beautiful spiral. Wow. What a throw and what a catch. Goodbye.
Yeah, well, how about that for a debut here in the shoe if you're Justin Fields?
So, Coach, obviously the other change at Ohio State is Justin Fields taking over quarterback. Why was he such a good fit at Ohio State?
Well, that was a very intense recruiting. You had Jalen Hurts, Brandon Wimbush, and you had Justin Fields. And, you know, Ryan Day obviously spearheaded it, and Corey Dennis, his assistant. And he was a perfect fit. Offenses need to be adaptable. You think when Braxton Miller went to JT, then JT, right in the middle of the season, we go right to Cardale Jones, a very different style quarterback. And then comes Dwayne Haskins, completely different than JT Barrett. Ryan Day is exceptional at adapting an offense. A quarterback's going to be best known also for what's around him. He's got a very good team around him. He's going to be protected. But Justin Fields is a dual threat. He's a dual threat quarterback, so he's much different than Dwayne Haskins.
So nowadays, the term is he a pass-first dual-threat quarterback or a run-first dual-threat quarterback? Where would you put Justin?
I think that's to be determined. To say that I understand that, I haven't been out there enough. I have been out there. They've thrown a number at me, 4.38 40. That's Braxton Miller type fast, and I know what that guy was. So what can he do? You know, he does have a very live arm. He's very accurate is what I'm hearing, but I think that's to be determined.
Any idea, the little bit you've seen him, who he'll most look like of the recent Ohio State quarterbacks?
No, I think it's a combination between JT and Braxton. I think those guys are, I'm very biased, obviously, about those two quarterbacks. But I think when you watch him, he's got great body size, great size, great legs, great speed. As you mentioned, we were watching this tape, you said, look at this acceleration. But I think a lot of this is unknown to him. You can say he played at Georgia. He didn't play at Georgia.
Right.
He didn't play many competitive snaps. So it's going to be, he's going to determine his own reputation.
So how do you manage putting him in harm's way with the option?
So what I would always do, I'd have the Q runs, and I'd keep them off the side, and I was the only guy that could call a Q run. Whoever the coordinator was, you were not calling the Q run unless it was a fourth, in these, for sure, the earlier games. However, you get to the rivalry game, you get to, as we said, talent equated games, you got to go in the game, have at it. But up until that point, you were not putting this guy in harm's way.
Well, we're all anxious to watch Justin Fields. He's certainly a great talent. We watched him at camp, and you and I have watched a little bit of him today. He certainly looks like he's the total package.
He does, and everything I hear about him, even more than that, he's a wonderful guy from a wonderful family.
Great.